All right, sorry about that. This is a lightning talk and I'm moving snail speed. Thanks everyone for coming out here to talk to you about the state of the JavaScript implementation of IPFS, Helia. Yeah, I've got a lot of content to cover, so I'm going to try to move fast. Here's the agenda. You know, the items are there. So still moving quick, but that's the gist. I'm Russell. I'm going to put on my Helia swag. So we got some beanies. Yeah, so I'm a senior software engineer at Protocol Labs working on JavaScript, TypeScript stuff. Yeah, Protocol Labs, IPFS Shipyard. Yeah, that's it. First, we're going to talk about the benefits of Helia, and here's the overview of the benefits I'm going to cover. If you have used JS IPFS or you're still using JS IPFS, the first two are the main reasons that you should switch, but you know there's lots of reasons. JS IPFS was tightly coupled to Go IPFS. If you haven't heard this, we've been talking about it quite a bit. Helia is not. Helia can pivot, extend, and otherwise improve without being blocked by a sister implementation. And the code and usability with Helia are focused on the needs of JavaScript and TypeScript developers. So instead of ensuring a public API matches another IPFS implementation, we're making sure it works for JavaScript and TypeScript developers. Like that's our primary focus, that it works for the ecosystem that it lives in. Oh, sorry about that. Now Helia is lean, modular, web native. It's mostly just an orchestrator, and I've got a diagram here on this side. Sorry for kind of flip-flopping. But it's mostly just an orchestrator between the block store, which is where your IPFS content is stored, your content addressable data, and libp2p. The networking and operations is handled by JS libp2p. But all the IPFS functionality mostly lives in the modules that you see here. So Helia UnixFS, Helia strings, DAG.json, etc. And Helia, in this code snippet, you can see that you construct a Helia instance and then you pass that to the module. Each of the modules, the pattern here for devs is that it's just an object that contains the first level properties of the Helia instance, which are block store, data store, libp2p, and I think that's it. But yeah, so the module, even without constructing a Helia instance, you can pass it just a block store and an object literal if you need, like we had in Slack, somebody asking about doing completely offline IPFS stuff. So if you don't want to do anything else, you just want to get a CID for some content, you want to see what that looks like, or you already have content that you want to load like in a completely offline application for whatever means, you can do that. Here's the diagram. We did just add, Will Scott was talking about the trustless gateways. So we do support that in Helia. You can kind of see we have the block store, which we've then put an abstraction on top of with block brokers. So, the bit swap was already there previously, which then reaches out to the network. And now next to bit swap, we have trustless gateways and we have this abstraction layer block brokers, which, you can bring your own custom block broker that talks directly to storage or Google Drive or anything really. Like you can do whatever you want there. It kind of follows, it's a very basic API, but talk to me if you want to learn more about that. Helia is very good at retrieving content. We do implement the latest IPFS specs. So fetching or content retrieval in the IPFS world happens within the Helia networked block store, from this diagram here, that block store. So when you do pass the modules, your Helia instance, UnixFS, or DAG.json module, all of those modules or your custom module that you bring or custom codec, whatever module you add, would benefit from that same content retrieval logic. Helia, it says I have 48 slides. That's not correct. I think some are hidden. Sorry, I got scared for a second. Helia provides all the benefits that you get from using JS libp2p. And as a counterpoint, any drawbacks or functionality that's missing in JS libp2p or problems that you may have if you follow the universal connectivity stuff. There are some, which I'll kind of get into a little bit, but that's the same that we're going to have with Helia if there's any gaps there. So we do have some barriers to adoption, and I'll talk about those, but many are not blockers for most cases. And if you work with us, we can help you get past these issues. So the top two are the main things I was referencing when talking about some gaps with JS libp2p, which are not necessarily due to like lack of features in JS libp2p, but like the top one, Node.js doesn't support Quick. There's a PR open for that right now that many people have touched. It's been open for 2 years or something. Matt from Lodestar, I believe, is working on that. I don't know his alias, but I'm sure you can reach out to them or ping We Meet Again or Aching Brain to get in touch with them or me. But yeah, it's a huge PR. It's like, I heard 25,000 lines of code. I haven't dove into it myself. I think it's been broken up a bit, but there's that. And then Kubo and Go libp2p support WebRTC as of 0.24. So that's fantastic, but we still have work to do to enable better browser support in the IPFS network. And then, yeah, that's the browser transport support story. And then also there is a Chromium bug which makes using web transport in the browser pretty difficult. There's some details in that bug, so yeah, you can go there. I've got a very long slide on the next slide coming up where we'll kind of do something with that. But there's only 5 stars on it currently. And then for CommonJS, a lot of the packages, the JavaScript and TypeScript that we've been putting out are ESM only now. So if you're using CommonJS and you can't update, there is an example out there that you can follow to be able to do that. Like it's completely possible. You'll get like a ERR unsupported ESM something error, but like you can get around that if you can't update dynamic import. Yeah, so I'm going to say it again. There are only 5 stars on that Chromium bug. And this is a lightning talk, but I'm not moving until I see some phones out. So let's get some likes on here. I'm serious. I won't. I'll stay here for the next 7 minutes. If you want IPFS to work in the browser and have like useful nodes in the browser, we need people's support. So please go star that issue. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the... You got to do what you got to do. I believe in the system, so let's make it work. And then those were kind of high-level issues. So these are some things that I've seen from individuals on the Discuss forums, which I'll have links to in a later slide and things like that. But I created there are common complaints coming from the other higher-level issues I just mentioned. For the network one at the bottom, Helia uses, like, it didn't use libp2p defaults at first when it was first created, and you had to like construct libp2p yourself. Right now, it does come with sane defaults, but if connectivity, networking isn't working like you like you want it to, if it's not doing something, that all of that is handled by JS libp2p, and like you can reach out to us, talk to others to find out like what you may need to do. But it's really good that we're kind of informing developers and consumers of Helia more about JS libp2p instead of hiding it all away like it was done with JS IPFS. Some quick call out. For production use cases, you do want to use a non-memory based data store and block store with Helia. By default, it uses in-memory. And if you're walking the DHT, which is enabled by default, and you're building up your peer store and you have we have 20,000 IPFS nodes or something. If you end up storing all of those in an in-memory data store, then that is going to crash your tab. That is going to, I just ran into, look like a memory leak. I forgot, it's an in-memory store with Helia HTTP Gateway, which I'll kind of reference a little bit. So what's next for Helia? Our website currently points to auto-generated API documentation right now, but we will update that. That's helia.io, here on the bomb sweater. Gateways will be using Helia in a service worker soon. Like that's something I'm very passionate about, and some of the leadership is here, so maybe they don't know that, but it's going to happen. Yeah, you should use Helia too. Like you should be fetching content directly using Helia. You can do that from your web app. You don't need to point people to IPFS.io. Don't use source IPFS.io for your images or whatever. Just you can fetch that via Helia, like with a service worker on your web app. All of your users are then, you're not bombarding the infrastructure that we host for free with those requests, and then your users should ideally be getting that faster. Overall, direct browser to browser is possible today. It does work today, but it will be easier as web transport and WebRTC become more available on the network. And then browser authored content, like we're going to solve that, and we will sunset those preload nodes that you use with JS IPFS, and that's why JS IPFS can actually serve content from the browser. It's not actually doing that. But yeah, we're going to solve that in the real P2P way. And that's going to be amazing. As a TypeScript and JavaScript engineer, these items are really exciting to me. If they excite you as well, let us know. And maybe we can work on them together. Maybe you can build that and we will use that. Point everybody to your thing. Like that's great. We want that from the community. But yeah, if any of these excite you, there are some work that have gone into some of these. I've got links to the GitHub issues, so go there, extend them, comment on them, open issues, whatever. But yeah, just get involved. And speaking of getting involved, now what? Like how do you get involved? If you're an IPFS or Amino DHT node operator, enable browser compatible transports. Stop disabling web transport. If you have to disable web transport because it doesn't work for your server farm or your instance for whatever reason, which implementation are you on? Can you reach out to the maintainers of that implementation and see if we can work through those issues with you? Like reach out. We're here to help. Web application devs and library authors, contribute, get involved, give us feedback. If you've tried using Helia and it hasn't worked, why hasn't it worked? Have you opened an issue? Is there an existing issue? It's probably browser authored content, golden path issues that we're familiar with. Yeah, let us know. If there is not an issue, reach out. We're very friendly, pretty cool. I mean, if you haven't seen my hoodie and everything, we're pretty cool. For protocol engineers, come contribute directly to Helia and JS libp2p or get involved in the IPFS specs. There's a link for that there. There's, we're moving forward. There is a spec open, which I'll link to, I think, in the later slide for writable IPFS nodes, basically, like putting to any node instead of the pinning API or something. For web platform folks, I see you, Dietrich. Let's push on W3C, IETF, Node.js, Chromium teams to support all of these things that will make P2P work everywhere. Let's make it happen. If you're just, following and you're curious, you're interested in IPFS, follow along. Say hey, what this guy said was very cool. I think we should do that. That's useful feedback and information. So where are the links, Abe? Right here. Yeah, there's, our website, helia.io. I got 1 minute left. I made it. This is awesome. I thought I was going to take 20 minutes. GitHub repo, wiki, and our wiki has recordings and presentations, which this one will be posted to after this. I actually have an old one I need to post there. We have a working group that meets every Thursday. There is one scheduled for tonight, which I haven't canceled, and I am still debating whether I am going to host that one. Probably will. So it would be really cool if I could host that here. I don't know if that'll work, but yeah, it'd be cool. It's 6 p.m., 7 p.m. tonight. Yeah, all those links. So I'm going to try to pronounce this. I wrote my own wording for it. Çok teşekkür ederim. Thank you. Huge shout out to Aching Brain, Mass Chad, We Meet Again, and WizKid.